In the last video, you learned how to graph angles in standard position. So now when we graph angles in standard position, we're going to talk about coterminal angles. So those are angles with the same initial and terminal sides. And those angles are called coterminal angles. So the things that you are going to need from this is you should know that the definition of a coterminal angle is they have the same initial and terminal sides, and you might want to draw these two pictures. So for instance, this angle of 30 degrees, it starts with this red line and then ends with the blue line. So that's the initial side is red, the terminal side is blue. If you were graphing negative 330 degrees, the initial side is still this red line, and then you're going to go clockwise to get to the blue line. So these two angles are coterminal angles because they start and they end in the same position. Okay? Or you can go multiple times around. So this angle in green is 45 degrees. So the initial side, you start here on 0 degrees, and then you go 45 degrees. Or you can go 405 degrees. So if I go one rotation around, that's 360 degrees, which would end me up right here. And then if I go 45 more degrees, that's 405 degrees. Okay? So basically, to find coterminal angles, you're basically just going to either add or subtract 360 degrees if your angles are in degrees. If your angles are in radians, then you're going to subtract or add 2 pi. And that's what I'm going to show you some examples of now. So, example 1, we're going to find a positive and a negative coterminal angle for 30 degrees. Okay? Since this is an angle, we're going to take our 30 degrees, and that means we're just going to go one full rotation around. So we're going to add 360 degrees. So my positive angle would be 390 degrees. That's my coterminal angle. That's my positive coterminal angle for 30 degrees is 390 degrees. Okay? You could obviously keep adding 360 degrees, and that would also be a positive, but just add 360. So to find a negative, we have to get a negative number. So I'm going to subtract 360 degrees. So 30 degrees minus 360 degrees is negative 330. Since this is a negative angle, so that would be my negative coterminal angle. Then it says to graph it. So I'm going to graph the 30 degrees first. My 30-degree angle is right here. Okay? Graphing should be easier because that's what you did in the last lesson. You start here at 0 and then you go about 30 degrees. Okay? If we're graphing 390 degrees, that means we have to go all the way around because that's 360 plus 30 degrees more. So that would be 390 degrees. Okay? Versus negative 330 degrees, you're just going to take this and you're going to go clockwise because it's a negative degrees. And so then you would end up right there. So negative 330 degrees. Okay? So when you graph these, since it's 3 different angles and they look very similar, you might want to use 3 different colors. Okay? If you need different colors, let me know, and I can give you colored pencils or markers or whatever you may need. Okay? So now let's look at example 2. This one's going to be, we're still going to do the same idea because it is still in degrees. So we're going to take negative 420 degrees, and we're going to find a positive first. So I'm going to add 360. Okay? So negative 420 plus 360 is negative 60 degrees. Okay? Well, if you notice, negative 60 is a negative coterminal angle. So that means this one is a negative coterminal angle, okay? So I know that we added 360 degrees, but since this number is still negative, that would be negative coterminal angle, okay? So I'm gonna keep adding 360 degrees to see if I can find a positive coterminal angle. So negative 60 plus 360 degrees is a positive 300 degrees. Okay, so this is my positive coterminal angle, and this one is my negative coterminal angle. Okay, so for most of the time, you're just going to add or subtract 360. This one's a little bit different because it's already multiple times around in the beginning. Okay, so when we graph negative 420 degrees, okay, so we're going to start right here because it's a negative, and that means we're going to go at least one time around because that's 360 degrees. Then we're going to go negative 60 more degrees to get 420. Okay? So then this angle just right here would be negative 60 degrees. And then my green angle is 300 degrees, so this way around is 300. Okay? Okay, so just to clarify, the reason why I added 360 degrees in the beginning is because when I added 360 degrees, I still got a negative coterminal angle. So that would just be my negative coterminal angle. And then when I added 360 degrees, it became positive. The reason why I had to do that is because my beginning angle of negative 420 degrees was already multiple rotations around. Okay? So this is example 3. I know it says example 2 right there, but I just forgot to change that to a 3. So now if you notice, this is in radians. So one full rotation around is going to be 2 pi. So this is pi over 3 plus 2 pi. Okay? So when we're trying to add fractions, we need the denominator to be the same. So I'm going to multiply. Well, first I'm going to make this a fraction. So I need this to be a 3 at the bottom. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom of the second fraction by 3. So that means I'm still going to have pi over 3 for my first fraction. My second fraction is 2 pi times 3, which is 6 pi. And then 1 times 3 is 3, because 6 pi divided by 3 is my original 2 pi. So pi plus 6 pi is 7 pi over 3. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to subtract. So I have pi over 3 minus 2 pi. So pi over 3 minus, and we already know 2 pi is 6 pi over 3. Oops, that should be an equal sign, sorry. So pi minus 6 pi is negative 5 pi over 3. Okay? And since this is radians, we're going to go ahead and graph it real quick. Pi over 3 is like about right here. Six pi over 3, we're just going to make multiple rotations around. Or 7 pi over 3, sorry. That should be 7 pi over 3. And then negative 5 pi over 3. We're just going to go in the opposite because it's a negative. Okay? And that's it.